Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference in how the video performs in the YouTube algorithm. So let's talk about Heat versus Celtics Game 1. The title of this video is going to be something along the lines of, why are the Celtics like this? Because dropping Game 1 is something that they have done multiple times at this point. I believe they lost Game 1 versus the Hawks, and I know for certain that they lost Game 1 to Philly, despite the fact that there was no Joel Embiid in that game. Of course, you did get a vintage Harden performance in there, but, you know, I felt as though that Game 1 was pretty inexcusable to lose, and this one's not that far from it, because to me it felt like the Celtics had a pretty strong command of this game for a good chunk of it, and then like around halfway through the third quarter, Miami started to go on a run, and when the game was neck and neck going to the fourth quarter, they completely flubbed it. Jayson Tatum was a huge reason why this was a loss for the Boston Celtics. Now, if I was meaner than I actually am, I would feel very vindicated about this. But again, I'm a Jayson Tatum fan, so I'm not rooting for him to fail. But I will say, not a single damn comment got added to that Jayson Tatum video saying, whoops, our bad. Maybe you had a point about how he can be inconsistent. But we're not going to worry about that. All I'm going to say is people reacting to the title and not listening to the video. I get it. The title was aggressive, but like, whatever. I'm going to let it go though. The only reason why it's bothered me so much is, frankly, lately my life has been going extremely well. I'm taking care of myself far better than I ever have. And because of that, I don't have that many problems to be actively angry about. Usually I have something to be annoyed about, but this is it. So that's why I'm probably harping on it more than I usually would. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. I'm not going to let it bother me too much. But he did really suck in the second half of this game. He took 5 field goals in general. Of those 5, I believe he only made 1 of them, which was a layup late in the third quarter. And he didn't take a single shot in the fourth quarter, and it might have been 2, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 huge turnovers late in this game, all of them being really dumb and seriously avoidable. Now, I have seen an argument made that, like, hey, the Celtics should have done a better job to get him the ball, which is true, but he had the ball enough, and I believe that if you're a superstar player, like all of you guys are saying Jayson Tatum is, you demand the ball in those moments. He was demanding the ball in those moments in Game 7 without a doubt, so yeah, I think that of any player who is supposed to be in the superstar category, you're taking more than 5 shots in a half, and you're also not taking 0 shots and only getting turnovers in the fourth quarter. As for the Celtics at large, I saw a great point from Dom2K for his series preview about how Jalen and Jayson kind of have this issue where they kind of just take turns watching each other, and it's not a new observation, but it's one that I definitely felt in this game, where it really felt like Tatum and Jalen were just kind of going back and forth for their aspects of taking over the game. Jalen definitely did a lot more in the third quarter and just the second half in general, because Tatum did basically nothing. I also want to shout out Marcus Smart. He definitely came to play in this one, playing good defense as he always does, and he got 10 assists in the first half. I don't know what he actually finished with, but 10 assists in the first half is really damn good. So good for him on that front. Got a couple of kicks out to Al Horford, a pick and roll with Al Horford, and 2 really, really nice lobs to Robert Williams. And then to talk about the Miami side of things, they got a lot of contributions from a lot of players. You had 35 from Jimmy. You had 20-something from Bam on like 9 for 13 shooting. He was really efficient and doing something that I appreciated of Bam, because something I've complained about with him before is just how timid and cowardly he can play sometimes. But there was multiple examples in this game where he caught the ball in the post and just attacked immediately, and it would result in good offense, whether it be like these short floaters or like he got an and one on Jayson Tatum that was really pivotal as Miami was making their run there. And then you got a big Max Strus game. He hit a crazy pull-up 3 that was really big in the end of the third quarter. And Kyle Lowry, 15. I think, yeah, you got 15 from Kyle Lowry, 15 from Max Strus, 15 from Gabe Vincent, and 15 from Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin also, huge three-pointer out of the corner in this game. So, yeah, lot of contributions from Miami. In the case of Jimmy Butler, he finished with 35, like 8 and 7, because of course he did. He is just a man on a mission. And frankly, I picked Boston to win this series because for all intents and purposes, it should only make sense that Boston would win this series. Like, I don't know, I think they were the 2nd seed, over 50 wins. Miami's the 8th seed, but also it's very self-evident that the regular season Miami Heat are not what this team is. It's also worthy of note that Miami did shoot really well in this one, which was obviously their key to success versus Milwaukee. In the Knicks series, they fell down to like 31% from 3, so that was them falling back down to earth. But also at the same time, they are better than 31% from 3 over a 6-game series, so at least ostensibly you would expect that rate would increase against Boston. As for how Boston defended Miami, frankly, I don't think they did it very well. As I did say, there was some hot shooting from Miami, but like Jimmy Butler seemed really comfortable out there. I feel like there definitely should have been more pressure on him because frankly, I think with Miami, if you take Jimmy Butler out of the equation, you win the game. Like I've talked about Jokic and his like how he deals with double teams and stuff like that. As good of a playmaker as Jimmy Butler is, he's not going to respond and, you know, destroy a double team to the extent that someone like Jokic will. So I do feel like they should put some bigger defenders on him. I feel like it's on Jayson or Jalen to really take that matchup personally and really go for it. They kind of went with a mixed bag of people defending him. I think Derek White got a decent chunk of it, which Derek White's a good defender, but I'd rather just have the length and the athleticism and the strength that Tatum does, frankly, on Jimmy Butler rather than a smaller but still good defensive guard. For the series at large, I'm feeling really good about Miami right now, man. It feels hard to bet against them because I've done that multiple times and been wrong. So at what point do I just accept that Miami is actually awesome and there's nothing about it to question, really? I will say for Boston, they obviously did flub this game late. Again, there was some discussion about like the coaching decisions in relation to Jayson Tatum and his lack of shots in the second half of the game. But at the end of the day, again, feel like that's Jayson Tatum's fault and his job to take over the game. And it didn't happen. And it's very well possible he bounces back and does that because, of course, he took over the game for Game 7 versus Philly as well as the fourth quarter of Game 6. So it's definitely not only possible, but likely that he would bounce back. But this is just the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Like, yeah, he finishes with 30-something points. Looks good on paper. But in important moments, you need your superstar player to show up if you want to win the game. And in the case of the Celtics, Jimmy Butler showed up for Miami. Jayson Tatum did not for Boston. I also feel the need, I didn't mention this ridiculous 3 that Jimmy Butler hit that pretty much put them away. You know, the perfect scenario for Boston in that stretch of the game is Jayson Tatum in that spot on the floor, hoisting up some contested deep 3-pointer, but bounces around the rim, bounces up, falls right through. Definitely a fun sequence and a crazy shot, but I do think there's reasons to not be too pessimistic if you're a Boston Celtics fan, but at the same time, I also feel like there are reasons to be pessimistic if you're a Boston Celtics fan, and at least from the short sample that I have of the people that I know who are Celtics fans, pretty defeatist. It feels like every time something like this happens, Celtics fans are just like, of course this happened. Of course this is some shit we do. And it's just been a pattern. It's just something that they do regularly where they play down to their competition. They play with their food. And if they do that, they're going to lose this series because Miami is not a team you want to mess with given how they've approached this postseason. So yeah, there's my coverage of Game 1. Going to be doing a few more videos on this channel going forward, like 2 videos a day for the coming weeks, just because there's been a lot of news stuff related to the draft, stuff related to potential trades, Portland Trailblazers rumors, James Harden rumors. So look forward to some extra content. But yeah, that is it. Oh, also do want to say this video will be coming out after the podcast happened, but not everyone shows up to it live, so I am going to be having a podcast come out that will be linked in the description by the time that this video is up. So if you could check that out, it'd be much appreciated. It's me, Alex, Hoops, and Rudy discussing the conference finals, kind of some preview stuff for the rest of the series, as well as again, some of these weird rumors that have been coming out lately due to the, off season being around the corner. So yeah, that is it. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye.